People play Genshin Impact for a multitude of reasons. Some play it to explore the vast and detailed open world, others enjoy meta grinding and getting the best out of their characters, and others just come for the gacha aspect and dip right after. But I, and I think many others with me, play Genshin for its rich cast of fun characters and stories they tell us.
Seriously, they care that much about my lineage?
From the simple Knights of Favonius and humble merchants, to literal gods and beings older than we can ever imagine, the dozens of different playable characters in Genshin make it stand out amongst its peers. As we are just a traveler in that world, it's basically up to the different characters we meet to take our hand and lead us through both Teyvat itself and the many big and small stories it has to tell. This comes in the shape of obvious things like the Archon quest to further the main story, big events that capture an entire version, which often tell an important side story, smaller events which tell a snippet of the world, or character quests that help flesh out the backstory and motivation of a given playable character. But an often forgotten, also by HoYoverse themselves it seems, type of quests which really focus on the lesser focused 4-star characters are the so-called Hangout Events, as a smaller replacement to the bigger character quests the 5 stars get.
あなただったの。ちょっと待って。会話モードに切り替えるから。
Hangout events are a series of small, permanent events you can access via the same screen as the bigger character quests. They actually put the normal gameplay of Genshin on the backseat and turn it into a more visual novel type affair, with first-person view, choice-based storytelling, with branching dialogue paths and only light exploration. These branching paths usually also result in 5 to 6 different endings for each Hangout event, with a funny flowchart to help you unlock the endings you haven't seen yet. They were also the first time a quest featured the affection meter, which goes up and down depending on your choices and can lead to different endings. Hangout events feel generally extremely low-key because it's mostly just light reading and also doesn't take up much time or effort. The plots themselves also reflect this vibe, as they're usually more slice of life with a focus on character development and extremely low stakes. Think about going to Leeway with Noelle and having her try super spicy soup, helping a stray cat with Lynette, or embarrassing Beidou when asking for a flirtatious pose for a photograph. These silly and casual stories also help flesh out these characters, which usually just get a support role in big events and updates, as you get to know them from a more intimate side without the world being in danger or a huge festival happening in the next few days. This is what makes Hangout events so enjoyable for me, as I just get to sit back and enjoy getting to know these fun characters without things like the time limit for events nagging at the back of my head.
本当にリーユへまでやってきましたね。
Sadly, these fun and unique Hangout events have been getting more and more irrelevant as time passed on. They were first introduced all the way back in version 1.4 with Hangouts for Barbara, Noelle, Chongyun and Bennett. After that, they were updated very frequently for the next 2 years, with the version 2 series giving us characters like Beidou, Yunjin, Goro and Shinobu, and the version 3 series giving us Hangouts with characters like Kaveh, Layla and Faruzan. However, starting with the year of version 4, Fontaine, the well seemed to have completely dried up, with only Lynette having a Hangout event only in version 4.5, and so far she's the only Fontaine character with a Hangout event, and the last one we got, period. This immense decline in frequency is so disappointing to me, as, like I mentioned, Hangout events give such a nice and casual look into the lives of our favorite characters, and with Fontaine and Natlan both having such good writing and great designs, it feels like a wasted opportunity not to make more Hangout events.
そうですね。
I can also see how the writing team at HoYoverse has been shifting the way they utilize 4-star characters and so-called less important characters in their current stories. Nowadays we see 4 stars have a more prominent role in both main story quests and big events. Like, I think most people know exactly who Lynette or Kachina are, thanks to their big roles in the stories of their respective regions. This narrative shift when it comes to these characters seems to have been trying to integrate them into the broader storyline more seamlessly, often alongside or even shadowing their 5-star counterparts. But all the characters like Noelle and Chongyun have barely any real presence in the Archon quests of their region, as opposed to the more recent 5 stars. This sadly makes them more forgettable, especially for newer players who are showered with dozens of new characters to learn. So I'm also quite happy that Genshin has been integrating all their characters into the story more. I also think it's interesting to see how both Genshin Impact's Hangout Events and the texting system in Honkai Star Rail have influenced Hoyo's most recent game, Sen Zone Zero, as that game's social and hangout system seems like a perfect mix of both the texting from HSR and the story-driven choice-based things we do in Genshin's Hangout Events. It could also just be time for a reversal trick and have them implement some of Zenless's social gameplay into Genshin Impact. I doubt that will happen, but I can always dream. In the end, I still think that Hangout Events in Genshin should make a comeback, as these Hangout Events are the perfect place for a more casual, character-driven and fun story with a personal touch. It also allows the writers to come up with more silly and slice-of-life style stories without needing to save the world again as usual or having it be linked to huge story implications later down the line. But what do you think about Genshin Impact's Hangout Events? Should they make a comeback? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, as I post regular deep dives into the games I love.